we're good to go.
Great. Okay, so first of all, you've read the report. What are your general thoughts when you read it?
My general thoughts first is how did this happen? Basically, I thought that incidences of this nature were incidences of the past, but obviously not. Looking at an 11-year-old child being placed in 11 different homes in the first years of his developmental life is totally shameful, to put it the least. I thought that we had structures in place that would ensure the safety and well-being of children, and obviously much more work needs to be done, particularly for those children with special needs, particularly with children with behavioral problems that may stem from traumatic experiences. Who knows? But needless to say, the resources available is simply not enough based on the report that I'm finding. I think also the efforts of caregivers and service providers is not enough as well. I think far too often we work in silos, really protecting our own turf rather than looking at the needs of the child. And this is a classic example of an 11-year-old child that fell through the cracks. Having said that, I think it's also important to note that the social programs have been dwindling over time, and it's not kept up with the pace, particularly for First Nations people. In the North, approximately 60% of children are in care are First Nations, and we hope to develop a structure that would really take care of the needs of the children within their own cultural milieu. So definitely much more work needs to be done. I really like the recommendations of the representative for children and youth. I think it's about time that something is on paper. I think the recommendation to establish a residential facility for children with special needs is really important, particularly for the North. I think any facility that is going to be developed for Northern people must be in the North. We cannot afford to let our children go down south again. I mean, everything seems to go down south. Even our children who have special needs are removed from the North to seek specialized services in the south, and I don't think that will work in itself. Most often, these children would get lost to the system and hence end up on streets, and we don't want to allow that anymore, and we can't afford that.
The minister did say she's creating a 6-bed facility, and that would be in Burnaby. What do you think about that?
I totally oppose the facility being in Burnaby. If she looks at her files, most of the children in care that have special needs are in northern British Columbia, and I think the government must ensure that northern BC gets some sort of a facility to take care of the most vulnerable children within their own environment. I think a facility is well overdue, provided that they don't keep cutting those services once they establish them.
Reading the report, would it be safe to say you were shocked by it?
I wasn't shocked per se, because I think history has proven that many children have fallen through the cracks with the ministry, and it had to take reports and reviews and assessments after assessments over the system to really try and ensure that children remain safe and protected. The system is not perfect, and we need to find that perfection. I don't think there's room for error when we're dealing with lives of children, and we need to uncover every possible method to ensure that the children are safe, but also involving community and making sure that it's everyone's responsibility to raise that child in the best possible way that we can. And having services available in this day and age, I'm sure that we can work collectively to meet that outcome.
Great. Perfect. Unless there's anything.
Rooms.
Oh yeah, for sure. The safe rooms. That is one shocking part of it.
Yeah, I'm shocked that the ministry or its caregivers would employ the use of safe rooms to try and work with or to modify the behavior of children. I mean, safe rooms is like going back to the 1920s when you were isolated in a padded room. I mean, I don't get how this type of care was allowed, and I hope that we learn from this report and move on and make sure that the safe rooms are in the natural environment for the child and not in isolation.